Today's video sponsor is Webull, a free online stock brokerage giving my audience 6 free stocks to sell for bike parts. All you gotta do is click the link in my description, deposit as little as 1 cent into your brokerage account, and they give you all that free money. Good luck.
So last week I made a video talking about the top 5 easiest beginner BMX tricks that I recommend you guys should learn, and I mentioned in that video if, hey, maybe this video is a little bit too easy for you. Well, today we're stepping it up a notch. This is the top 5 easiest, or well, not necessarily the easiest, but my top 5 favorite intermediate BMX tricks that I think you guys should learn. So if you watch today's video and it's like, oh, these are a little bit too difficult and you want to dial back the skill level a little bit, make sure you hit the link in the description and you can check out the beginner video. Beginner and intermediate, I mean, those are just relative terms, but these are just my favorite tricks that I think you guys should learn. Make me a deal. If you get any value out of today's video, you'll hit that like and subscribe button. If not, you can hit the dislike button and go back to watching Jake Paul. I don't really care. But anyway, first on the list, now hear me out. It's a difficult trick, but I really like these and I think you should learn them and I recommend them, but it is a bar spin. Now I have a how to bar spin. I have about 5 of them. So you type in how to bar spin BMX and I personally believe I have some of the best how to bar spin tutorials. I mean, I've done them a million times and I just put a lot of effort into them. So this is not a how-to video by any means for any of these. I'm going to give you my favorite tricks and give you a quick rundown and a quick tutorial, but not obviously an in-depth how-to. So with that being said, the bar spin, here are my tips on that. I think you should learn them fly out if possible. I know a lot of my friends who have learned them hop and they're a little bit sketchy. Sometimes they throw X-ups and they're just kind of screwing it up a little bit. But if you learn fly out, you actually have more time to go in the air and properly think about the form. So that way you're not throwing X-up or doing weird stuff throwing down. You can fly out, really focus on the bar spin. Now, before you even get to there, of course, without being said, you should understand the motion very well. Don't not be able to kind of sit back on your back wheel and toss it and then go for a 10-foot fly out bar spin. Obviously, get that down. But then another tip I have for you is throw at the peak of your hop. So whether you're hopping or flying out, wait till you're at the very top, level out, then throw, and then you're going to be coming back down. A lot of people, they get real excited and they'll just throw it on the way up and it just kind of explodes. You got to go up nice and even, toss it, and then come back down. And another huge tip is everybody, when they always try, they get scared and they throw it away or down. So instead of bar spinning like this, like they should, they throw down. Their front end drops and then it just doesn't work out, obviously. So I also recommend you film yourself in slow motion. If you can't get it or you don't understand what you're doing wrong, film yourself in slow motion and then you'll be able to see exactly where it goes wrong. Are you not pinching your legs? Are your feet coming off? Are you throwing down? Are you throwing away? Are you throwing too early in the hop? Are you throwing too late? That is honestly a really big tip. All right, number 2 on the list is a 5 cab. Now, if you're doing it on a free coaster, you will not be using pedal pressure, and it's pretty self-explanatory. If you can do a full cab, same exact thing. You just huck a 5 cab. But today we're more going to talk about cassette because that's what I'm on, and this trick is so fun for cassette riders, and we will be using pedal pressure. Now, the number 1 thing is don't even try this if you can't full cab. If you can full cab, no problem, anytime, anywhere, any day, day or night, eyes closed, then this trick is going to become very natural to you. So make sure you get the full cab down first. So all of this is you're going to do the exact same thing as a full cab, except you're going to be pivoting around faster, right? So it's a full cab, except make sure your pivot and your spinning is tighter, faster, and then apply a little bit more pedal pressure and a little bit more hop. All you need is a little bit faster carve, so that way you get a faster rotation and a couple extra inches. And that should be enough to just spin you around that extra 180 for the full cab. And since you're coming around front ways, I mean, you can land like this and pivot. So it's honestly a lot easier to 5 cab than it looks. If you can full cab really well, you're gonna get the 5 cab in a few tries, I promise you. Now, number 3 on my list is a G-turn. This is one of my all-time favorite tricks. It's so fun. You can learn these flat, you can learn them on a little curb manual pad, you can learn them on a bank-to-bank. I absolutely love this trick. Now, don't get it confused with the G-turn 180. This is a full G-turn where your front tire makes the shape of the G. If you're interested in the G-turn 180, you can watch the last video on the beginner list, but we're moving it up a notch to the full G-turn this time. Now, I highly recommend you learn the G-turn 180 first, and I also recommend you learn nollie 360s first. Not so much flat, but if you can G-turn 180 flat, and then you can nollie 360 out of a bank, then you basically just put those two together. My biggest advice to you on the G-turn is, you'll notice in the video examples, you wanna spin that first 180 around as quick as possible, so that way you get it out of the way, and you're locked in, you're locked into that backwards nose manual. So go to the G-turn, spin it around real quick, lock in backwards nose manual, and then once you start approaching the full G shape with your front wheel or coming around to 270, then you'll pop out and then finish that last 90. So honestly, this is one of those tricks that's just best explained via video. So just look at these examples, get past that first 180 real quick, lock into that backwards nose manual, carve it around to 270, and then pop it out. And yeah, this is a super fun trick you can do anywhere. This next trick is a manual 180. It is better explained through video, but I do have some tips to help you guys get started. The key to learning this one is taking a nice big carve at first. Eventually, I mean, you've probably seen videos. You've seen me doing it a million times. People can manual in a straight line and then magically somehow at the end pull a 180. Well, that's not how we started. We started with a big, nice curve because then that puts us already in the motion to get the 180. And if you have cassette, you can use pedal pressure. I use pedal pressure all the time, but you don't need it at all. In fact, sometimes it actually screws me up. It gets me all like, too much torque on it and I land weird. Free coaster, no pedal pressure, it's totally fine. Don't think that you need to learn it with pedal pressure. And in fact, I highly recommend you don't, even if you have cassette, but sometimes it's hard not to cheat. So then you're going to manual in that arced path. And then the last 3 to 4 feet, what I like to do is drop my front end a little bit, kind of start to preload and basically prepare for that last little hop to get the rest of the 90 to form the full manual 180. So the last 3 to 4 feet when you're first learning it, get that big, nice arch pathway and then preload a little bit and then pop. But you don't want to pull too much considering you're already leaning back. Just a nice little hop and it should finish the rotation for you. And the best advice I have with this to start learning is start with a very, very small, short, exaggerated manual 180. Now, unfortunately, I don't think I got an example of this, but basically start with teeny tiny little manuals, teeny tiny, big carved, little tiny 1 foot manuals, 2 foot manuals, 3 foot, and eventually be able to get like a full 5 foot arc to manual 180. And then eventually, just like anything else in BMX, you get better at it, you get more comfortable with it, you understand it, muscle memory. Then you can do those straight manuals to 180. The last trick on my list might seem like a, what even comes after intermediate? Amateur, pro? I don't know. But in my opinion, this is an intermediate trick, even though it is probably the most difficult on the list, but it is a tail whip. And once again, I will link it in the description. I have many how to tail whips video. I will link my favorite one down below, but this is a super fun trick. Out of the gate, shin pads and ankle pads will cause you to commit and not hurt yourself so much. So I highly recommend investing in those. So I highly recommend you learn these fly out. I mean, I've never personally seen anybody learn them hop. It's difficult. Hop is the hardest tail whip you will ever do. In theory, you tail whip off a curb, that's easier than hop. You tail whip off a ledge this high, it's easier than hop. You tail whip down El Toro, it's easier than hop. So time is your friend on this one. I highly recommend a fly out or a nice roll in. Biggest advice and what I will express greatly if you watch that how to tail whip is keep your arms low and close. If you keep them up and away, it's going to be like you're doing a Superman whip, right? The close comes from whenever you're doing it, you don't want the bike to be super far away. How are you going to catch the bike if it's way out there, right? It needs to be close to you. So that way it's in a short little circle when you do the washing machine motion, and it's going to whip right around and be right where it needs to be. But now your pedals are hitting your hips, right? So that's where the low comes in. So you keep it close, so that way it's going to land right where you are, and then low, so that way it lands right at your feet. So you want the bike to finish where it started. Low and close. You're not going to be doing Superman tail whips anytime soon, I would imagine. I can't even do that trick. Another one I highly recommend that you watch in slow motion because I think you'll be surprised how hard it's going to be to actually keep it low and close. You're naturally going to want to have it way out here. You're going to be whipping out here. If you watch my examples, I'm tail whipping with my knees by my crossbar. That's how low and close you need to keep it. And the actual motion, just kick with your back foot, do that washing machine motion, and then catch with your front foot when it approaches about 270 degrees. You're going to want to reach your foot out, catch it. Don't catch it when it does the full rotation because then you're going to overwhip it and it's going to slam into you. When it hits 270, start looking at that front pedal, catch with that front foot, bring it back, and then you're good. Hop tail whip, I would say it's about 50% arms, 50% legs, but a lot of people emphasize way too much on the legs and not as much on the arms and the washing machine motion, and that's the most important part when you're learning them fly out. For me, personally, it's 20 to 30% feet and 70 to 80% arms. Like it is mostly that washing machine motion, getting that bike all the way around because the feet is just get out from under you and then your arms is whipping it around and that's the whole trick, right? So Anyway, guys, that was my top 5 list on my favorite intermediate BMX tricks. And I've got some how-tos individually for these, and I'm gonna link the ones that I've made down below. If you got any value out of this video or just enjoyed it, hit that like button, share it with a friend, and happy learning these tricks. Follow me on Instagram at Greyson Roberts and DM me your progress. I want to see it. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, because we don't make that much on AdSense, we pretty much survive off of merch. There is a link in the description to get perfect Hawaiian shirts to ride in, great riding sunglasses and hats, everything you need to go to the skate park. It's all perfect, designed for riders, by a rider. So thank you for your support on the channel, and I will see you in the next video.